Alright, let's get real for a second. We all know water is life, right? We're told to drink up, stay hydrated, aim for those 8 glasses a day. But what if the very act of staying healthy is quietly exposing you to some genuinely concerning stuff? Here's a quick, slightly unsettling stat. If you actually hit that recommended 8 glasses today, you likely swallowed roughly 2,000 microscopic plastic particles along with it. Yeah, you heard that right. Plastic you never ordered, just free-floating in your H2O. Still feeling thirsty? Don't hit that faucet just yet. Stick around because in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 3 of the biggest, most overlooked dangers lurking in the water you trust every single day. And here's the good news. I'm also going to reveal some dirt-cheap, surprisingly simple ways to stop them dead in their tracks. This isn't about fear-mongering. It's about being informed and taking control of what goes into your body. Risk number 1 isn't some exotic poison from a far-off land. It's far more insidious because it's hiding in plain sight. We're talking about the plumbing you literally walk past without a second thought. The very arteries bringing water into your home. Think about it, our infrastructure, both public and private, isn't getting any younger. And as those service lines and brass fixtures age, they begin to corrode, slowly but surely flaking off invisible metals like lead, arsenic, and nickel directly into your drinking water. These aren't just minor irritants. Lead, for example, is particularly nasty because it's odorless, tasteless, and completely invisible. You won't know it's there until you test for it. And according to a sobering 2023 EPA update, this silent threat still shows up in about 9 million US homes. The implications are profound, especially for our youngest and most vulnerable. Kids exposed to even low levels of lead can suffer irreversible neurological damage, potentially losing up to 6 IQ points for life. That's not just a statistic. That's a direct impact on a child's future learning and development. But hey, adults aren't exactly getting a free pass here either. Long-term exposure to these same metals can significantly raise blood pressure and contribute to kidney damage decades down the line. And if you're thinking, well, my house is newer so I'm safe, think again. Even brass fixtures labeled lead-free can still legally contain up to 0.25% lead. It's a loophole that leaves many unknowingly vulnerable. So here's a quick self-check. If your house was built before 1986, it's wise to assume risk first and safety second when it comes to your water. But honestly, even newer homes aren't entirely exempt from concern. Arsenic, for instance, can also seep into groundwater naturally from soil deposits, posing chronic health problems like various cancers and heart disease, even at barely detectable levels. It's a silent threat with severe consequences. So what's the solution to these metallic marauders? Don't panic. The first step is knowledge. You can request your utility's Consumer Confidence Report. Every supplier is legally obligated to mail one out each July, detailing local water quality. Or, for a more direct approach, grab a relatively inexpensive lab kit, usually around $25, $30, and sample the first draw water after it's been sitting in your pipes for at least 6 hours. If your lead levels read above 5 parts per billion, ppb, or if other metals are a concern, it's time for action. The good news? You don't need to rip out your walls. Install an NSF 53 certified carbon block or reverse osmosis unit under your sink. The price tag? We're talking about 25 cents a day over a filter's lifespan, significantly cheaper than that daily latte you already budget for. It's a small investment for massive peace of mind. Next up, let's talk about something truly insidious. PFAS. This acronym stands for per- and polyfluoroalkyl substances, and they've earned the chilling nickname Forever Chemicals for a reason. They literally don't break down, ever. Once they're in the environment, they're there for good, and once they're in your body, they tend to accumulate. So how do these persistent pollutants get into our drinking water? They're incredibly widespread, riding into groundwater from a multitude of sources. Pesticide runoff from agricultural fields, the coatings on fast food wrappers and non-stick cookware, industrial discharges from manufacturing plants, and even the firefighting foams used at military bases and airports. The sheer ubiquity of PFAS is staggering. The CDC's 2022 exposure report found PFAS in the blood of a shocking 97% of Americans. This isn't just a regional issue, it's a national, even global, concern. The health implications are equally alarming. The EPA links long-term exposure to PFAS to a host of serious conditions, including kidney cancer, thyroid disease, developmental problems in children, immune system effects, and even a measurable drop in vaccine effectiveness. Imagine something so pervasive that it could compromise your body's ability to fight off disease. We've seen firsthand the devastating impact. Remember the single farm dump in North Carolina that contaminated drinking water for 300,000 residents? That state is still grappling with the cleanup a decade later, a stark reminder of how persistent and far-reaching these chemicals truly are. What's even more concerning is that studies have shown that communities of color are often disproportionately affected by PFAS contamination, highlighting an environmental justice issue within this crisis. And here's the kicker. Because PFAS molecules are so tiny and incredibly slippery, standard municipal water treatment methods often let them sail right through, virtually untouched. They're designed to bypass traditional filtration, making them a formidable foe. So, what's our defense against these forever chemicals? You need a specialized filter. Look for one that's NSFP 473 or 473 certified. Granular activated carbon filters can work effectively for about 6 months, but for the long haul, you'll want to swap in an ion exchange resin filter. These are specifically designed to capture those elusive PFAS molecules. Your cost? Roughly $10 a month. Seriously, that's less than the streaming service you probably forgot to cancel, and certainly a small price to pay for protecting yourself from forever chemicals. Now, let's talk about a necessary evil: chlorine. We rely on it to keep our water safe, and for good reason. Chlorine is a superhero when it comes to killing dangerous germs, bacteria, and viruses that could otherwise cause widespread illness. It literally saves lives. But here's the catch, and it's a big one. When chlorine does its job, it reacts with organic matter in the water, things like decaying leaf bits, agricultural runoff, and other natural farm waste. This chemical reaction creates something called disinfection byproducts, or DBPs, specifically trihalomethanes and haloacetic acids. And guess what? Both of these are classified as Class 1 carcinogens. Let that sink in for a moment. The very thing keeping you safe is simultaneously cooking up cancer-causing compounds. A University of Illinois study, for instance, calculated that lifetime exposure to these DBPs can raise your odds of developing bladder cancer by a significant 20%. And it's not just about drinking the water. Think about your morning shower. Hot shower steam delivers a double hit because you're not only absorbing these chemicals through your skin, but you're also inhaling the concentrated vapors. It's like a mini sauna of carcinogens, especially if you love a long, steamy shower. And here's the wild part. The levels of these byproducts aren't constant, they spike in the summer months. Why? Because that's when utilities often have to dose extra chlorine into the water supply to combat increased algal blooms and other organic matter that thrive in warmer temperatures. So, in a strange twist, the calendar itself becomes a risk dial, with your exposure potentially increasing just as you're trying to cool off. So, how do we mitigate this chlorine conundrum? The most comprehensive solution is a whole-house carbon filtration system. This knocks down the byproducts right at your point of entry, treating all the water coming into your home. You'll need to swap out the cartridges yearly, but it's a robust defense. If that's a bit outside your budget right now, don't worry, there are excellent budget-friendly options. A $30 shower head filter, for instance, can significantly reduce chloroform vapor by up to 50%. And best of all, absolutely no plumber required. Pair that with a kitchen pitcher certified to NSF 42 and 53 standards, and you're cutting your exposure from two critical angles for under $50 a year. It's about being smart and strategic. If reading this is already making you side-eye your tap with a newfound suspicion, then you're in the right place. Hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss next week's deep dive, where we'll break down the astonishing truth about microplastics in bottled water. Yes, even those pure plastic bottles shed particles. And if you're feeling a little H2O no right about now, drop that exact phrase in the comments below. I'll pin a list of the filter links I personally use and recommend because I believe everyone deserves access to clean, safe drinking water. We've talked about chemicals and metals, but let's not forget the microscopic villains, biological contaminants. While chlorine does a fantastic job against many pathogens, some biobaddies are incredibly resilient. Case in point, Cryptosporidium. This microscopic parasite is wrapped in a tough chlorine-proof shell, making it notoriously difficult to kill with standard disinfection. We saw the terrifying consequences of this resilience in Milwaukee back in 1993, when Crypto slipped through the city's treatment plant, sickening a staggering 400,000 people, and tragically claiming over 100 lives, mostly among the immunocompromised. Modern water treatment plants have certainly advanced, often incorporating UV light or ozone disinfection specifically to target these hardy parasites. However, aging infrastructure, severe weather events like floods, or even simple system failures can still push these resilient oocysts into our main water lines. A single ingested cyst can trigger 2 weeks of debilitating cramps, fever, and severe diarrhea. And for those with compromised immune systems, the very young, the elderly, or individuals with certain medical conditions, it can lead to potentially life-threatening malnutrition and dehydration. Cryptosporidium isn't alone. Other biological contaminants like Giardia, another tenacious parasite, as well as bacteria such as E. coli and viruses like norovirus, can also enter our water supplies through sewage contamination or inadequate treatment. Like metals and PFAS, these pathogens often don't alter the taste, smell, or appearance of water, making them impossible to detect without proper testing or an outbreak. So, what's your best defense when these invisible invaders threaten? If a boil water notice hits your area, take it seriously. Boil your water for 1 full minute, make it 3 minutes at higher altitudes, to kill any lurking cysts. For a more proactive, continuous solution, fit your tap with an absolute 1-micron NSF 58 certified filter. These filters are specifically designed to physically block even the tiniest cysts. And for the intrepid travelers out there, don't rely on dodgy tap water abroad. Chlorine dioxide tablets are a lifesaver, effectively killing cysts without leaving that unpleasant bleach aftertaste. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, and I know it might feel a bit overwhelming. So, let's condense this down into 3 super actionable steps you can take right now to reclaim your water quality. Think of this as your personal water safety checklist. 1. Test, don't guess. This is the absolute foundation. You can't fix what you don't know is broken. Order a comprehensive water testing kit that flags everything from heavy metals like lead and arsenic to those stubborn PFAS chemicals, and even biological contaminants like E. coli and Cryptosporidium. Don't rely solely on municipal reports. Get a snapshot of your tap. 2. Target with precision. Once you know what you're up against, match the contaminant to the right filtration standard. Remember, NSF 53 is your go-to for heavy metals, NSF 473 for those tricky PFAS, and NSF 58 for cysts and other biological nasties. Don't just grab any filter, make sure it's certified for the specific threats you've identified. 3. Maintain with vigilance. This step is crucial and often overlooked. Filters aren't set-it-and-forget-it devices. You absolutely must replace those cartridges on schedule. An expired filter isn't just ineffective, it can actually become a breeding ground, essentially turning into a petri dish with plumbing attached, potentially reintroducing contaminants into your water. Mark your calendar, set reminders, whatever it takes to stay on top of it. So there you have it. 3 key takeaways that might just change how you view that glass of water forever. First, your home's very own pipes can quietly dose you with brain-damaging metals, impacting everything from IQ to kidney health. Second, our farms and factories are flooding our water supplies with pervasive, forever chemicals that resist breakdown and accumulate in our bodies, linked to serious long-term health issues. And third, the very chlorine keeping you safe from immediate threats can, ironically, cook up insidious carcinogens right in your tap and shower. But here's the empowering part. The fix isn't some unattainable luxury. Taking control of your water through testing and targeted filtration costs less than a monthly pizza night. It's an investment in your health, your family's well-being, and your peace of mind. Share this crucial information with that friend who brags about only drinking tap water. They might just thank you for it. Smash that subscribe button for more no BS health audits and practical solutions. And always remember this, you might not be able to change the entire municipal water supply, but you absolutely, unequivocally control the last 3 feet before that water hits your glass. Make those 3 feet count.